In aerobic conditions, when oxygen is plentiful, the cell can maximize its energy harvest by utilizing the mitochondria. In the investment phase, we start by spending 1 ATP in step 1 as hexokinase converts glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. Then, another 1 ATP is used in step 3 as phosphofructokinase converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. The NADH boost. In step 5, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase produces 2 molecules of NADH. Because oxygen is available, these enter the electron transport chain to generate 5 ATP, 2.5 into 2. Substrate level gains. We then gain 2 ATP at step 6 from 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate kinase and another 2 ATP at step 9 from pyruvate kinase. The result, totaling 9 ATP generated minus the 2 invested, we get a net yield of 7 ATP. In anaerobic conditions, like in red blood cells or rapidly contracting muscle, the energy yield is much lower because the NADH cannot be oxidized for extra ATP. The investment, just like before, we spend 1 ATP at step 1, hexokinase, and 1 ATP at step 3, phosphofructokinase. The payoff, we still generate 2 ATP at step 6 and 2 ATP at step 9 through substrate-level phosphorylation. While step 5 still produces NADH, this NAD is redirected to step 10 to reduce pyruvate into lactate, regenerating NAD+, so glycolysis can continue. Without the mitochondrial ATP boost from NADH, we are left with 4 ATP produced minus 2 invested, resulting in a net yield of only 2 ATP. To summarize, the 10 enzymatic steps of glycolysis provide a different energy profit based on the environment. Aerobic versus anaerobic. The presence of oxygen allows the cell to harvest 7 ATP, whereas the absence of oxygen limits the yield to just 2 ATP. Efficiency. Aerobic glycolysis is significantly more efficient, providing over triple the energy per glucose molecule. The path ahead. Remember, this is only the first stage of metabolism. Complete oxidation of glucose through the citric acid cycle will eventually yield a total of 32 ATP.